Oh, hello. Greetings, Reclaimers. I am 343 Guilty Spark, monitor of Podcast Evolved. Protocol dictates that you must listen. Come, we have a wealth of knowledge to share with you, and you don't want to make my blue eye red. Do you, Reclaimers?
Spartans, to another Halo Book Club episode, a part of Podcast Evolved, your home for Halo. That is weird to say.
It's weird, it's new, isn't it?
I'm your host, Krista, hashtag Krista is best host, and with me today is David, who has the best beard.
Hello everybody, I'll take that win.
And it's just us, it's a Halo date.
Yay!
I don't think we've done a Halo date in a long time.
It has been a long time, definitely us too.
Yeah. We've been pretty consistent with being able to get 3 people on an episode.
It helps that we just gather more people around us.
People just keep joining us. It's very nice because we never have to seek them out. They kind of just become part of us. We're like the Flood.
We just absorb them into us.
Because we ran out of books, now we're going through Halo Evolutions, and we're just going through story to story. And so we're starting with the first story in Halo Evolutions Volume 1, which is Soma the Painter, which is literally like 6 pages long.
This thing is just so ridiculous. Like, I've heard the word Soma the Painter before, and I knew it was a Halo Evolutions thing, and I assumed I read it. I had never read it before, because I have the Halo Evolutions Complete Edition, but later on, they split it into Volume 1 and Volume 2, and added 1 extra story in each volume, which I didn't know. Or maybe I did know and totally blanked out. So Soma the Painter only exists in Halo Evolutions Volume 1.
I have only had the 2 separate volumes. I kind of want to get the massive one just to kind of complete my collection, but I had read Soma the Painter, but I don't think I really comprehended what was going on in this story just because it was so quick, and it was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm moving on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I guess we have to start explaining what happens in this.
Yeah. I can talk you through it. It's pretty simple.
It's like way before anything, really. It's in Forerunner times.
Yeah, it's set during the Forerunner Flood War.
Oh, it's before that, I think.
It kind of is, but I think like the end of it kind of makes you think about when it's set. But like the Forerunner Flood War took over a long period of time. But it sounded like these people maybe didn't know what was going on.
I think it was the, like, resurgence of the Flood. Like, it was, like, between when they thought they destroyed the Flood, then when the Flood came back.
Is that what it was? Okay.
I think so.
Okay, well, here's the details anyway. It's called Soma the Painter. We have no idea who authored this book, because we cannot find it. It's not listed in the book itself, or online. So I have no idea who wrote this. The publisher was Thor, so they did the original ones. It's available in all the formats that you think. Its release date for this edition specifically was the 2nd of November 2010. That's when Volume 1 came out. And its length is 353 pages. And that's Volume 1 again. But the actual length of this book is 6 pages, the short story.
It's really short, yeah.
So that's interesting, because I wasn't sure about the timeline of when it was set.
Yeah, it reveals... I'm looking at the Halopedia article, which is literally like a paragraph.
Yeah.
Roughly like 300 years before the Didact was put into exile, it looks like. Here's what it says. Halo Cryptum reveals that the Didact was not awakened from exile until the last decade of the Forerunner Flood War, meaning the Auditor and the Prelate could not have informed him of the Flood's return for roughly 300 years. That might actually just be an inconsistency now, so this might just be almost out of canon in a way.
That was my one piece of trivia was about it. Also, this looks like it may be Frank O'Connor that wrote this.
It says Frank O'Connor at, like, the top, but then it doesn't say it, like, right next to the story, but it might have just been Frank who wrote this.
Frankie probably just bashed it out, didn't think anything else of it. Forgot he did it again.
I think the concept of this Forerunner planet, C-word, is really interesting.
Isn't it? I liked it, and it totally fits into what you can think, like, Forerunners would be like that there would be a sect amongst them that lives like this. So just to give people the preference, if you haven't read it, you probably should. We'll wait for you. We'll actually sit and wait right now.
It'll take you like 5 minutes, seriously.
It's pretty much a painter called Soma, who is painting a sunset on this planet. And this planet is called Seaward. And it is pretty much like a retirement home, like enclave for Forerunners. It's super secret. You have to be super crazy rich and influential to even know it exists, and then to get there. And when you get there, you pretty much give up most of your technology, especially their suits and your AIs and stuff like that, and just to exist more normally, and you age normally and essentially die of natural causes. That's kind of why you come here, to live like this. Soma is trying to paint the sunset, because there's a twin sunset on this planet, and apparently if you get it at the right moment, you get this lovely effect, and it sounds fantastic. And he has this crazy ass technology that he's using to quote unquote paint, and in doing so, he notices in the picture there's a smudge. It's like, that's not supposed to be there. When he looks up, he sees the smudge is like a sickly greeny yellow pallor coming across the sky, almost like something is striking into the atmosphere.
Yellow is the color in Halo that makes you kind of triggered. It's like, you know, if it's yellow.
It describes it as sickly yellow, which means only one thing in the Halo universe. And that's kind of, he kind of goes, hey, this is kind of weird. I better go back to town and tell people. And then that's kind of the end of his part of it. And then there's a small little section which talks about the Auditor who receives a report from the Prelate detailing the events recorded by an automated monitoring system that was spanned the Forerunners, apparently the whole Forerunner. And there's a little bit back and forth of, oh my god, you're bugging and watching these people. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it, it's totally fine. So they recorded the painting and noticed this, and this tells them that, oh shit, there's danger coming. Apparently there's some transorbital balloon is initially sent to Seaward to give supplies. It gets damaged, but apparently that's all they did about it. The two Forerunners decide we have to tell the Didact of this event, claiming that their test has come, which I think is the signifier that, you know, the flood has actually invaded. They know who this is, even if the people on the planet don't. Which maybe makes sense because this planet seems kind of isolated, and they describe it as being on the furthest reaches of the galaxy's arm. So like it's way out there, that it's like you'd only come here, or to go further on into the empty void in between galaxies. Realistically, they probably don't know anything about the flood if they've been here long enough.
No, and if they're politicians and stuff like that, they probably really don't know. The only people who really know about the flood would be people that are really into the government and into the military and stuff like that.
So that's kind of where the date range is kind of funny, because like you said, the only bit of trivia is that the Didact wasn't awakened in the last decade of the war, which would indicate it's probably not during them.
If they said Master Builder, that would have made more sense.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted to use the word Didact.
Just to link it in. I mean, what was 2010? Yeah, almost building the Halo 4.
It was 2 years later, yeah. So they wanted to use the words Didact a lot, like they did in Halo 3. Just kind of throw it around. Then we find out there's 2 of them, and it gets really confusing.
Oh yeah, it does. But essentially that's it. That's the story.
Yeah. I don't mind this story. I think it's interesting how the Forerunners live, and how they're pretty much just, like, left to die, basically.
That's cool, but it's like, it's voluntary, and it's very much kind of like, yeah, I'm here. Like, Soma, I think, is 417 years old.
And she says it's, like, pretty young, but she's just like, you know, whatever, I want to die. And I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Maybe the people after the wars, the human war, the the Flood War. They're just like, fuck this shit.
I think she's just a hippie artist and wants to age normally.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I got her character, you know. She just wants to like lie back and enjoy.
Pure chill.
Yeah, she wants to smoke some of that Forerunner weed. That's all they're doing, I'm sure.
You know they got the good stuff.
They got some good stuff there.
I did find the names kind of interesting, very unforerunnery. The planet doesn't even have a name, it's G617. But that's probably on purpose to kind of hide it, to make it look rubbish. And then there's like Seaward and Wharftown. Like, Wharftown is not a Forerunner name.
It sounds like a bad RPG.
I was just about to say that. It's like a town on RPG.
Like one of those medieval ones, and they're just like, it's got docks and a wharf. It's Wharf Town.
Welcome to Wharftown, the city of Seaward. Anyway, short and sweet. That's it. There isn't really too much to delve into. Most interesting thing about it is kind of when it's set. There's no real character growth. There's nothing really happening. We never hear from this planet again. Presumably it's fucked.
Oh yeah, everyone there is dead. If the Flood are gonna have a fun time because they don't have armor or anything, so they're just literally going to instantly die. I mean, they all got what they wanted.
A death. Well,
a death.
Did
Yeah.
they die? Are they dead really? I mean, they're dead now because the halos went off, but...
Yeah, I guess you're not really dead if you're part of the Flood. You're kind of eternal after that, but you're living in a horrific place.
It's not nice.
Does that mean Keys will come back?
He's not dead.
Yeah, he's technically part of the Flood forever.
Well, we did punch his entire head.
Yeah, but his mind was part of the Flood at that point. I guess they didn't have a grave mind, though, so... Whatever knowledge they blew up when they blew up the Halo Ring got lost. So I think you need to make the grave mind in order for the grave mind to absorb that knowledge and then keep it eternally.
God damn it, we were so close, Krista.
Close to what? Immortality. Would you want to live forever, David?
Probably not.
I would like to live in the cloud.
I like the idea of deciding when I'm going to die, though. I'm like, I'm just gonna go live in this paradise and just die when I feel like it.
Yeah.
When I've seen enough.
Instead of it just coming and yeeting you.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you just kind of get to decide. I like that too. That's a much better alternative. We're born in the wrong age, David.
Yeah, probably.
The Corona age.
It'll be over soon. We'll have a new age. Krista, do you remember the story? And I'm only going to ask it now because it's kind of relevant to this. It's called Wages of Sin. It's the other short story that's in volume 2, and I don't think I've read it either.
Oh no. Like, I read Evolutions when I was in high school, and the only time I've ever reread any of the stories is when we've needed to do book clubs on them. Like, I haven't really touched it. Like, I read Human Weakness every once in a while because it's my favorite, but the other ones I don't bother with very often, you know?
It's the same. I think I've only read Halo Evolutions once in its entirety, and then I've gone back to it for various book clubs, like specific parts. So there's probably things in it I've read only the once. And even reading the description of this one, which will probably be a book club eventually, it doesn't sound like anything I've read.
I mean, at this point, we're just going, like, story by story. I think some of them we're going to be keeping for later because they might become relevant, but other than that...
Yeah. This one's just a nice to have. Here you guys go. Short and sweet episode. Boom.
They're going to be mad at us. They're going to be like, why is it only 17 minutes?
They can't be mad for 6 pages. Especially when very little happens in the 6 pages. And we talked about Aragon.
Now we're rambling now.
Now we're rambling. I mean, there's technically only 3 characters in this story, and the didact doesn't count.
No, he does not. Because he was probably in a cryptum, and I don't know what that guy was smoking when he said we need to tell the didact. They just, like, yell at his cryptum. They're like, hey, didact! They're, like, knocking on his cryptum, hey!
That's pretty much it.
Except they didn't know where it was, so I don't know how that happened. Either way, it's a cute story. It's very forgettable.
Pretty much.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you read it. I hope you think it's okay. It's meh. It's done. I'll probably never read it again.
No, probably not.
This is it now. I'm sorry, Soma the Painter. You've had your moment.
I'm actually gonna rip the pages out of my copy and throw them away.
I mean, maybe someday, if we ever get to talk to Frank O'Connor.
We can ask him if he wrote it. Be like, why didn't you credit yourself on the book?
Do you remember writing this?
He's like, no, I don't remember. No one knows who wrote that. It's a mystery.
I fell into the book.
You know what? Someone was so ashamed that they wrote such a short story and couldn't come up with anything else. They just didn't credit themselves.
I mean, the bones of the story is there. I mean, if you could tell what happens to that planet, I mean, that could be interesting.
I kind of like how it's like you have to kind of fill in the blanks for everything.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I know we're shitting on it, but it's just kind of a meme and it's funny. But it's interesting. I like how it doesn't give you all the information and you kind of have to fill in blanks and stuff. I like stories like that. It's very like pre-343 Forerunner stuff, you know, when Bungie didn't tell you anything.
True, and everything was just guesswork. Random words thrown in.
It's kind of a great testament to that period in Halo history.
It is, that's true.
Do you want to leave now, David?
Yeah, get us out of here, Chris.
Thank you for joining us for this book club. You can find every episode of all of our shows on our website, halopodcastevolved.com. It also features links to our Discord server, Facebook group, Patreon page, Xbox Live Club, and other contact information. If you want to call us, you can call us now. I'm not sure if people still know how to use phones. You can call us and leave a voicemail about this episode or a previous episode or about anything Halo related. Please don't call us telling us what the weather is.
Don't need it, got enough of them.
We already got one, we don't need another one. Give us a call at 205-EVOLVED, and that's 205-386-5833. And with that, I have been your host, Krista, and until next time, evolved.
Evolve!
It's gonna be the best editing ever.